Hello, YouTube family. It's L'Oreal here, and as you can see, I'm still in the hospital, my home away from home, either here in Joliet or UPMC, University of Pittsburgh Medical Center in Pittsburgh, but I got a very bad infection in my PICC line that got into my bloodstream and has really spread, and I have the chills, I have a fever right now. I did actually wash up today and put a hospital gown on and change, but I haven't washed my hair in like 7 days, so please excuse me. It just hurts too bad. My lower back is killing me. But anyway, I just wanted to tell you guys a funny story. This is a typical day in the life of L'Oreal. So I might have shared this with some of you, but about 2 years ago, I was extremely nervous and stressed, and I couldn't walk up the stairs without being out of breath. I had to stop, I couldn't halfway up the stairs, and I couldn't finish a sentence without breathing. I had to stop and take a breath, and I was getting chest pains. My heart was pounding out of my chest. My hands were sweaty and shaky, and my heart rate was extremely high. My blood pressure was high. So here we go. Let's count how many times Lori says, God, what do you do for that? How do you stop saying, I think I'm going to put a quarter in a jar every time I say, because I say it a lot. Anyway, so I went to a cardiologist, and they did a ton of tests on me. They did the treadmill test with the contrast, and they did every test, you name it. I did it again. Anyway, they said that, yes, I definitely had blockage in my right arm, so I would have to go in and have a stent put in. So I get to the hospital the morning of the day of the surgery, and my anesthesiologist, I thought he was pretty cool. I guess it wasn't really his fault. I think I was just so nervous, probably nothing would have helped, but he was Russian, and so Russian and Ukrainian languages are quite similar, so we were having conversations in Russian and Ukrainian, and he could tell I was nervous, and he's like, I'll give you something extra in there as long as, you're staying here, right? You're not going home or driving or anything, and I said no, and so he's like, okay, I'll put something extra in there for you, and I said, thank you so much. So they wheel me into the operating room, and I am shaking like a leaf. I'm crying. I'm totally freaking out. And then the nurse says, hey, how about music? You want some music? What do you want to hear? And I just automatically, my mind just went to Juice WRLD. That's that. I mean, he's my favorite artist besides the Stones. So I said Juice WRLD. And so I said, okay. So he played Juice WRLD, and the only Juice WRLD song that came on is one that is I love them all. I can't say it's my least favorite, but I guess it's my least favorite. It's just overplayed. Lucid Dreams, that was the only one they really played on the radio, and that definitely isn't his best stuff. But anyway, so Lucid Dreams comes on. I'm laying there. He starts sticking this thing that feels like a wire coat hanger up my wrist, and I'm screaming, and I'm swearing, and I was in so much pain. And he gets a second later, and then he pulls it out, and he's like, you don't need a stent. You have less than 6% blockage. And I said, what? How could that be? You did all those tests on me, everything. I had so many tests done, and, the treadmill test and everything. And he said, well, there's really a true thing called broken heart syndrome, and it can mimic that you have blockage or having cardiac issues. And my life is just extremely stressful, and it has been for quite a long time. And I'm not going to get into exactly why I was diagnosed with broken heart syndrome, but I have that, so that's what it was. So Thank God he took the damn wire hanger out of my arm. But wouldn't you know it, I wasn't out of the woods yet, because the next song that comes on, I thought it would be all Juice WRLD songs. Okay, I'm in my 50s, and so, like, you got to give me a break here, guys. I don't know a whole lot about this. I didn't know it was just going to be like rap genre. But the next song that comes on is Kendrick Lamar. Yeah, I got a fucking problem. I love bad bitches. I like to fuck. Yeah, I got a fucking problem. And I am just like laying there, like wanting to crawl up into a ball and die. I was so embarrassed. I was like, oh my God. I was just hoping, and the doctor and the nurses were like talking and stuff, and I was just hoping, praying that they weren't listening to the song on the radio. It was so embarrassing. It was so embarrassing. Anyway, so that's my funny story that time. So then yesterday, I get into my room up here, and watching the news, and Trump's on, and I said under my breath, I'm like, oh, I'm turning this shit off. And he goes, yeah, you'll make yourself sicker. And I'm like, what did you say? He goes, watching Trump, you're going to make yourself sicker, turn it off. And I'm like, oh, you're not a Trump fan, And he's like, no, I can't stand him, actually. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. And he's like, I went to the rally yesterday. I'm like, wow, that's really awesome. And I said, I'd love to see some of your pictures, and I'll show you some of mine from the rallies that I went to, because like the macrame heads that people made, and I wanted to show them some of the shirts I have and stuff and everything, and some of the signs that the people made. Well, I met the nicest couple, John, and I can't remember what his husband's name was, but I did get John's phone number. I forget I really thought it was Dustin, and that's my nurse's name. But anyway, I'm telling you guys, and he was holding up a sign. I took a picture of him, and he said, the sign said, Cory Booker sent me. And I said, come here. Now, doesn't this look like you? And he goes, well, yeah, it does, actually, I'm like, yeah, they say everybody has a twin, and so that was about it. And then he came back in a few hours later. I was miserable. I didn't sleep at all last night. I probably won't tonight. So I was sitting in this hard chair over in the corner trying to, like, help my back. Like, I thought something hard would help my back. And he came in, and he's like, oh, you're way over there in the corner. And I made a joke. I'm like, yeah, nobody puts baby in the corner. And he's like, I'm not much into musicals. And I'm like, oh, well, Dirty Dancing is really good. You should watch it sometime, And he goes, but my wife did get a big chuckle out of it when I told her that you thought I was gay. And I was like, oh, fuck no. Oh, my God. I swear to God. And I'm not assuming, okay, I'm not assuming every male nurse is gay, because that is so not true. Or every guy that works in the medical field is gay, because that is absolutely not true, okay? And the reason I thought it was him was because I swear to God, this guy has a doppelganger. He looked just like him. Glasses, the beard with like the gray and the beard and stuff, and kind of starting to lose his hair a little bit. I swear he looked exactly like him, And I was like, oh my God, I am so sorry. And he's like, no, that's fine, no offense. He's like, yeah, I've been married for like 20-something years, and we have 3 kids. And he's like, oh, my wife thought it was funny. And I'm like, I apologize, but, who cares? I guess my gaydar was off, but who cares? I don't even have a gaydar anymore, because you know what? Love is love is love. So you love whoever you want. And, as long as you're a good person, as long as you're good to me, and good to other people, then that's all that matters to me. I don't care if you're pink, purple, polka dots, and I don't care if I don't, what your sexual preference is. I care about how you treat others, how you treat me, and how you treat others. That's all I care about. And, he agreed with me, but we thought it was kind of funny, and he was sort of teasing me about it. But but I'm telling you guys, shit like this only happens to me, and I'm gonna have to be here another 10 days. I am still not out of the woods. I'm really scared, actually. That's why I'm trying to, like, make myself laugh and keep my mind off things, because I'm really scared. But I thought you guys would get a kick out of that one.